what you'll hear from me is the Gospel of John, chapter 20, verses 19 to 31. I always ask people not to read along, but to hear the word. Originally, in the time of the disciples in the early church, most of these stories were told person to person. And so we're returning to that ancient practice as we receive the word afresh. So this is how the text goes, John 20, 19 to 31. It was evening that day, the first day of the week, and the doors of the house where the disciples had met were locked for fear of the religious authorities. And Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." And after he said this, he showed them his hands and his side. And when the disciples saw that it was the Lord, they rejoiced. Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As God sent me, so I send you." And then he breathed on them. Receive the Holy Spirit. And if you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained. Now, Thomas, who is called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But Thomas said, "Yeah, right. Unless I see the nail marks and put my finger in the nail marks in his hand and my hand in his side, I will not believe." Well, a week later, the disciples again were at the house and Thomas was with them. And although the doors were shut, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here in my hand. Reach out your hand and put it in my side." And Thomas said, "My Lord, and my God." And Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe. Blessed are they, for they who do not see will indeed believe." Now, Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples that are not written in this book, but these are written so that you may come to believe that he is the Messiah, the Son of God, and through believing, you may have life in his name. Here ends a telling of God's blessed word. Thanks be.